Happy morning, friends. Here's yours, Dr. Ajanta. Welcome to day 9 session. Today we are just going to see Python input, output, and input functions. First, let me just discuss the most common print function. The print function is mainly used to display some message or some content onto the screen or any devices. So see here it is the most commonly used function where it is printing this sentence is output to the screen. So that is the most common useful function. And next, the second example, a variable has been declared and a value has been assigned, and you want to display it as an output the value of a is. And see here, dear friends, in this the statement, the print for statement, we can notice that a space was added between the string and the value of variable a. So this is by default, but we can change it. And see, below the exact syntax of the print function is provided. So print and the objects, and here you can just make use of that separator. Object is values to be printed, and separator, SCP separator, is used between the values. It defaults into a space character. After all values are printed, end is printed, it defaults into a new line. That is the function. And the file is the object where the values are printed, and its default value is sys.stdout. That is the output screen. So here is an example to illustrate this. Kindly have a note of it, dear friends. See here, print 1 2 3 4, and see the second one is 1 2 3 4 with a separator as a hash symbol, where it will separate each and every element with a hash symbol. And the next print function, it will separate use element with asterisk symbol, and at the end it would be displayed with an ampersand symbol. And kindly I just make an execution and see here, dear friends, how the exact function of print function has been executed. And next, let me just see about the output formatting. See, output, sometimes output formatting is, sometimes we would like to format our output to make it look attractive. So this can be done by using str, that is string.format method. So this method is visible to any string object. And see here, dear friends, here we are just making two variables, x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 12. And here the curly braces are used as a placeholder, where we can specify the order in which they are printed by using numbers as like a tuple index. Okay, so let me just execute this cell number 4. See here, the exact value of x to be placed inside this placeholder, and the value is 6 is placed here, and at last the value of y should be placed in this placeholder, that is the value of y is 12. So as like this. And we can also just see one more example where you can just make use of I love 0 and 1, that is the where the exact place for this 0 and 1, the keyword we have to use is mango and banana. And see here the same mango and banana, but here the placeholder where it has to be as ones and zeros. So the banana has to be the first one and second is the mango. Okay, so let me just make use of one more example. And see here, dear friends, we can even use keyword arguments to format the string. And here it is, the keyword here, how come we can just make as like greeting. So here it just comes the good morning, and the name is equal to Mark. Let I just execute here. See here, hello Mark, and then comma, and greeting, as it is a greeting, it's ended with an exclamatory. So here we are just giving the name and greeting, and with the keywords we can make use of the arguments also. And then we can also format strings like the old, that is sprint or F style used in C programming language. We use the percentage operator to, so we use the percentage operator to accomplish this. And see here, dear friends, here the x value is a float value, so variable, and it just has x is equal to 12.34567890. And how it has to be executed? By using this percentage symbol, and as this means only two number after decimal, and here percentage 0.3 means three numbers after decimal. Let me just execute this and see here, dear friends, the exact difference between the both the output, where you can also make use of this percentage operator to accomplish this. And next, coming to the input function, and up until now our program were static, so the value of variables was defined or hard coded into the source code. So to allow flexibility, we might want to take the input from the user. So in Python we have a built-in function, that is input, to accept users input. So see here it is the exact syntax, and where prompt is the string we wish to display on the screen. So it is actually an optional, but anyhow, let me just see with some examples. See here, dear friends, I just want to give the number. Okay, so here this enter the number, so this is the exact string it want to be displayed on the screen. So enter the number. Okay, let I just enter some number 65, and see here it just accept. And see, whatever you enter into the text box, it would be assigned as a string value only default. Okay, let me just see the second one, and see here we are making a typecasting of integer, that is converting the string in 90 to integer. Let I execute here, and see, this is what we defaultly we have just seen already in the data type of examples. And one more example, see here, typecasting the exact string to a float value. Okay, so we can see that the entered value 90 is a string and it is not a number. So to convert this into a number, we just used int of or float of function, that by using typecast methodology. And next, coming the example, see here a is equal to 6, where 6 it is provided in a double quotes, and to the same b is equal to p, it is also provided it in the double quotes. And if I just want to concatenate that, that is c is equal to a plus b, and let me just see the execution. Yeah, it is 6p concatenating, that is joining or merging this 6 and p, the value. And see here, dear friends, when you just want to add the same thing, that is inside the string there are some operations, if you just provide any operation, and see here it would provide it with an error, that is 6 plus 3, as it is an string value, and even though if you just provide any typecasting, it cannot be done as an operator. Okay, cannot add numbers as a string data type. For that, the same operations can be performed by using the function eval. That is, but eval takes it further. It can evaluate even expressions, and provided the input is a string. And see here, let me just make this and execute the same 6 plus 3, and see it would be just resulted with the 9, that is the summation of 6 plus 3. And let me just make it one more example, 3 into 6, where the multiplication of 3 and 6 is 18. And next, coming accepting user inputs, both integer and string. Let me just see here. See, dear friends, this input prompts, so prompt for and returns input as a string. Hence, if the user input an integer, the code should convert the string to an integer and then proceed. So we have to just check whether what is the type of the data, whether if it is a string only or in other than the string. So see here, dear friends, I just want to execute here some information. Hello, how are you? Okay, if I so what we provide as a content inside the text box, so it would be displayed as it is. So here I'm just typing my name, so here it was taken as like it. And but see here, when you just receive a data from the user, it has to be stored it into a variable. So here this input function, this is the main functionality of an input function. So receive some data from the user and it would be just stored it in a variable. So see here, what I just provide is Ajanta. Okay, and see here it was being stored in the variable ABC, and I want to know what is the data type of the input which I just received from the user. And see here, it is a string. Okay, fine, dear friends, I just make one more copy of the same and I provide it again. Now instead of a string value, let I just provide some numerical value, and even though what we just provided in a text box, it is only defaultly taken as a string. Okay, so where this type function, it just returns the format or the type of the variable or a number what it just stores. Okay, let me just next see with an example. Yeah, it just receives some input from the user. Okay, it just receives an input from the user. Okay, what is the information? Yeah, enter some student name. Okay, let I just give my name Devi. And what is your major? Okay, computer science. Okay, what is enter the university? Okay, my university. Now see here, it just printing the student's detail. What is the name? Yeah, it is Devi. And what is the major? Yeah, it is computer science, and the university, you know. And see here, dear friends, it is just printing as it is what the exact user is giving the input. And let me just check with one more example where about the type, even though if you just provide any number, see here I'm just going to provide some number, enter the number, yeah, 111, even though that, and second, and see here, as I said previously, whatever you enter in the text box, it is defaultly taken as the string only. Okay, so just keep it in mind when you just make use of this functionality. Okay, and the next coming, accepting users inputs only as integer. Okay, now I just want to give an integer data and it has to store as an integer. So for that, what I'm just going to do, I can make use of two types. One is if you are able to identify the exact data types, or if you are particular onto the data types, you can just make use of typecasting, but defaultly you can make use of the eval function. Okay, see here, dear friends, the a function to use in conjunction with this is eval, which takes a string and evaluates it as a Python expression. And kindly have a note in this notebook, it is often easier just to modify the code than to prompt for input. And now let I just give some integer value. Okay, I just giving the integer value, and see here, even though it is an integer, the first one it just shows the str, and second it just gives the equation of that. So it just changed the input to integer data. And see here, second example, we can make use of typecasting as integer of, even though if you just provide it in a string, if you want to convert it explicitly, you can provide the explicit function as int of. Okay, now let me just see with an example, program to calculate addition of two inputs. So now I just want to get two inputs from the user and it has to return the resultant, that is the summation of that two numbers. And see, the first number, it just expects the user input. Okay, let I just provide some 63 as an input, and secondly it just wait for the second information, okay, second data. That, okay, here I'm just providing the second as second number as 45, and see, we just received the addition of, that is summation of the two number is 108. And see here, dear friends, if I just want to give, that is accepting one integer and one float number for the from the user, and we have to calculate the addition of the both the number, and to the resultant, even though if it is not specified here as the integer and float summation, we would receive the resultant in the float number only. Okay, let me just check. See here, the first number let me give in integer number, and for the second number let me just provide some a float number, and to the summation, see here, we are just receiving 8 in a resultant in a float number only. Okay, and dear friends, let me just go with a small example, that is write code to get three numbers and add first two number and multiply with the third number. So see here, first we are just going to make the summation and then the multiplication of the third number. So here let me just execute. Okay, first number, let I just give a small number 4, and second number as a 5, and receiving the third number 6. Okay, and see here, the first number is 4, second number is 5, and third number is 6, where the resultant how we need is the first two numbers should be summation and it has to be productive, that is the multiple with the third number. And as such, let me just go with one more program, write a code to get four numbers, that is four input from the user. And see here, dear friends, the first number 7, second 8, let I just provide it 8, and third as 4, and fourth number as 5. And see here, dear friends, see what is the exact resultant we need is multiple first and fourth number and divide second and third number and add this step 1 and step 2. And see here how this has to be is in a formula of result is equal to num1 into num4 and num2 divided by num3, and both the resultants should be added, that is summed of that, and it would be resultant. And see here, dear friends, we just got 8 in a float variable. Okay, now write a code to get a cube of the number. Okay, here I have just specified it with a function that is a cube of, so which is just going to receive only an input, and that input I have just given it for typecasting as an integer, and whatever the integer it is going to make as a cube. And you can just directly provide what is the variable you are receiving directly, a into a into a, you can just provide it. It is an easy conversion, and you can also make use of this function definition. Okay, here a function has been defined, and see here, dear friends, let I just give a number to be cube. Yeah, the 3 cube, which is resulted with 27. Okay, and next comes a function accept float input from the user. Okay, so what the user has to provide is directly a float data. Okay, and I just provide a float data, and to this see here, dear friends, let's see how to accept float variables, and even though not other than things. So previously we have just seen in some one example receiving it, and here let me just detailedly see with some more functionality. And after this, okay, yeah, it is directly making use of the float function, where one is typecasting, and with the same by using the type function it just identify, yeah, the received input, that is the variable which the user provided is a float variable. Okay, Next comes a get multiple input value from the user in one line. See, actually in Python, it is possible to get multiple value from the user in one line. That is, in Python, we can accept 2 or 3 values from the users in one input call. So for an example, in a single execution of one input function, we can ask the user's name or age and a phone number and store it in 3 different variables. So we have just seen some example previously in sessions where how to get multiple. So entering multiple inputs or receiving multiple data in a single line, it is possible in Python. And let me just execute this, dear friends. And yeah, enter the name, okay, and age, okay, and a phone number. See here, it's okay. So user details, so each and everything, it is separated with a space. And next one is accept multi-line input from a user. See, as you know, the input function does not allow the user to enter put lines separated by a new line. So if the user tries to enter multi-line, it prints back only the first line. So let's see how to get the multi-line input. And we can use for loop in each iteration. We can get input string from the user and then make use of join them using this slash n, or you can also concatenate each input string using plus operator separated by a slash n. So these are all some of the possibilities where you can enter or you can accept multi-line input from the user. And see, let me just see, tell me about yours. Okay, I'm Dr. Ajanta Devi. Okay, research head. Okay, AP3 solutions. So what about the input? If I just tagged here, it would be just seems to be as concatenated in a single thing, and each and every line whenever I'm just entered, it would be as an appended into an value, and then it has been shown into a separate line. And you can also make use of format output string by its position in the sense, actually you can just see, actually when you just get the variable 1, variable 2, and you can also place the position as like placeholder where you want to display or specify the message 1 and 2 or 3 further. So let me just see here with an example. See here, dear friends, enter the first name. Okay, I just provide my first name. Okay, enter the last name. Okay, I just provide it. Okay, and enter organizer name. Okay, see, I just provide my organization. Okay, and see here, usually how it is just placed is Ajanta Devi works at AP3 solution. And in second print here, what I'm just making it my format, how even though if I just receive the first name, last name, organization, my position how it has to be is first I have to place my first placeholder and then only 0. As I have already said, as tuple, here it is also be specified by the index 0 only. So 1 and 0, it just seems as Devi and then Ajanta. Okay, and next how it has to be printed is, see here, dear friends, first name, last name, and works at 2, that is the second in the element. And it just gives you some other examples, like first it has to print the 0th element. Next, with a separator of a comma, it has to print 1 and 0th element, and next one 1 works at 2, that is the second element. And see, all the variations are has been provided here. Okay, hopefully you have just understand it. And going for the next one, accessing output string argument by name. And see here, dear friends, here when I just execute here, enter name. Okay, let I just enter a name. Okay, enter some mark. Okay, I just provide a mark, and see what I need is whatever you just provides the data, it has to concatenate with some symbols or some arguments. So here as it is a mark, I just want to include with a percentage. Okay, so let I just provide this, and see here the student name Devi. Okay, mark. Okay, how the output is just coming is as like mark is equal to 88%. Okay, now next coming to the output text alignment specifying a width. A width is in the sense entering a text and it has to be aligned where it was to be by using the format function. And see here, dear friends, it is a left aligned, so we are just making a format of a board, clipboard as like the width of 25, and the left alignment in the screen, and next one to the tab of 25 we have to make it as a centered, and the next one right aligned to the format of 25 frame of that. Okay, and next coming display output number in various format. And kindly just have a look of this, dear friends, how you want to display this one. So for an example, if I'm just providing a number, okay, so it is just expecting a number, let I provide 44, and okay, sorry, here it is in the previous function. Okay, now I just go for the next execution. See, it is expecting me to give a number. Okay, once on that number, the resultant how it just to show is the number is 44, and how the format, the octal format, it just providing me. And the next one, see here the format, here it is colon O. Okay, and the next the binary format as B, and the next one hexadecimal format as X. So this is a very funny things, but a new concept which you can just make use of the format functions, that the number can be converted into octal, binary, and hexadecimal. Okay, next let me just see here, dear friends, displaying number in floating point format. Floating point format is in the sense see, however, some format where you can just execute that decimal number, how far the floating number can be included. See, for an example, let us just give one example. 33.12. Okay, so see here, this is my number, and the number float number how many is it just defaultly gives with a 6 decimal. So this is what the float number, output number, it is in the float. And if you want to pad for that float number, you can just give 5.2 to the power of f, that is 5 numbers and 2 decimal numbers. And when coming to the exponent notation, okay, you can just make use of this e plus to the power of, that is 0, 1, and this exponential in uppercase, yeah, you can also specify in this manner. So here how you can just enter the float number and you can make use of some functionality. And next comes the output string justification. And see here, dear friends, we can just make use of this string functionality by using R justify, L, that is left justify, and center. Okay, to justify text output on screen and console. Okay, let me just see with an example. I just provide text. Okay, and see here, dear friends, reminding this after this justification, I just need to have 16 number of asterisk symbols, to just show you how the output screen would be displayed. So see here, dear friends, this is one. After the Jupyter, the content, the text content, 60 asterisk has been displayed as to specify it as a left justification, and for right justification, after 6 asterisk, that is asterisk, it just provide me the content as Jupyter. And the next one, for center justification, the exact 60 asterisks has been divided into two, that is 30 asterisks. After that, Jupyter, the content, and the next it would be appended with the remaining 30 asterisks. Okay, next, and to the last, import function. Okay, so Python import function. See, actually, when our program grows bigger, it is a good idea to break it into different modules. So a module is a file containing Python definitions and statements. So Python modules have a file name and end with the extension .py. So definitions inside a module can be imported to another module or the interactive interpreter in Python. So we use the import keyword to do this. So for an example, we can import math module by typing the following line, that is as like import mat. Okay, and see here, we can use the module in following way. For an example, import math and print math.py. So it just gives you the py function. See, now all the definition inside the math module are available in our scope. So we can also import some specific attributes and functions only. So using the from keyword, for an example, if I just give from math import py, so see here also we can just make use of that. And next comes, see, actually while importing a module, Python looks at several places defined in sys.path. So it is a list of directory location. And see here, dear friends, actually this sys is a built-in Python module that contains parameters specific to the system. That is, it contains variables and methods that interacts with the interpreter and also are also governed by it. So this sys.path is a built-in variable within the sys module. So it contains a list of directory that the interpreter will search in for the required model, and let I just execute. These are all the modules where the specific modules, if among it in the built-in module. Hope I have just discussed. We have just discussed some information related with input, output, and import functions. And see you in the next session, dear friends. Thank you.